What if I told you that one Star Wars game from 2002 lets you battle through Geonosis, chase Dooku across junk worlds, pilot iconic vehicles, face ancient Sith weapons, and even learn from Ulic Qel-Droma himself? And yet, almost nobody ever talks about it. Today, we're going over a forgotten piece of Star Wars gaming history. Star Wars: The Clone Wars 2002. Not the show, not the animated movie, or the other show. The game that launched on the GameCube, PlayStation 2, and Xbox, and quietly delivered one of the strangest, boldest expanded universe stories of its time. Star Wars: The Clone Wars was developed by Pandemic Studios and released on the GameCube and PS2 on November 28, 2002, and on Xbox in April 2003. The game is set 22 BBY, right after the outbreak of the Clone Wars. It is a vehicle-focused action game with some on-foot sections and a full campaign that takes you across several planets, all tied into a storyline involving the Dark Reaper, an ancient Sith superweapon not seen since the Tales of the Jedi era. Just before the Battle of Geonosis, Mace Windu and Luminara Unduli are deployed to take out Geonosian and Separatist defenses. After clearing a landing zone for Jedi transports and surviving the arena chaos, Mace leads elite clones to destroy multiple Separatist ships. During the escape attempt, he even fights and defeats 3 Dark Acolytes. The Republic is forced to evacuate Renvar after a Separatist offensive. Obi-Wan and Anakin take to the skies in gunships, buying time for Jedi and troops to escape. The attack on Renvar is part of Dooku's secret plan to recover the Dark Reaper, though the Jedi don't know it yet. A month later, Separatist activity is detected on the junk world Raxus Prime. Anakin and Obi-Wan investigate with a small clone squad. They destroy scout parties, wipe out supply bases, and eventually help the Republic overwhelm the Separatist evacuation forces. Dooku escapes, leaving behind a terrifying machine, the Proto-Deca, a prototype droideka that wipes out most Republic forces before Obi-Wan destroys it solo. Meanwhile, a fragment of the Dark Reaper leaves the system, chased by Anakin. Dooku captures Anakin and sends him to the Wookiee moon, Alaris Prime, for execution using the Force Harvester, a component of the Dark Reaper that drains the Force from living things. Anakin escapes with the mercenary Bara Kazan, frees other prisoners, and barely escapes the Harvester's devastating blast radius as it destroys half the moon's forest. With communications jammed, Anakin and Bara hijack a CIS tank, break into an outpost, and send a distress signal. After defending a Wookiee village until Obi-Wan arrives, the Republic destroys the CIS dropship Harbinger and secures the moon. Back at base, Mace Windu reveals the weapon's true nature and sends the Jedi back to Renvar to learn how to stop it. To destroy the Dark Reaper, they need the teachings of Ulic Qel-Droma, whose tomb lies on Renvar. Obi-Wan assaults the ground forces while Anakin fights in the air. Anakin defeats spectral guardians and reaches Qel-Droma's tomb, where he learns how to resist the Harvester's effects, though only briefly. The Dark Reaper is located on the war-torn world of Thule. The assault happens in 4 massive stages. Anakin destroys the shield on the Thule moon. Obi-Wan takes out communications in a gunship. Mace Windu commands the ground assault around Thule's capital, and Anakin infiltrates the Sith Temple to confront the Reaper. Along the way, Sidon Prax, Dooku's replacement for Jango Fett, destroys Mace's tank. Mace fights his way on foot to open the temple gates. Anakin kills Prax, enters the temple, and with Qel-Droma's guidance, destroys the Dark Reaper alone, but the experience pushes him further toward arrogance, and closer to the dark side. Controls. The controls are janky. There's no lock-on mechanic, making certain objectives frustrating and causing you to take far more damage than you should, and this holds the game back significantly. Combat, you have vehicular combat, and this is the core of the game. Most levels revolve around driving tanks, gunships, and various other vehicles. Most vehicles use a speed boost, while others have temporary shields or special powers, like missiles. The Republic gunship even auto-fires its side turrets. On foot combat, this only happens occasionally. thankfully. Obi-Wan is not playable on foot in the campaign, and on foot gameplay includes being able to swing your lightsaber, throwing it, force push to destroy enemies, but overall, these on foot sections are rough. Multiplayer. For a 2002 Star Wars title, the multiplayer in Clone Wars is surprisingly deep and adds a lot of replay value, especially considering it came from the same studio that later created Star Wars Battlefront. The game supports 2-player split screen, and instead of just tossing in a simple versus mode, Pandemic built out multiple fully featured modes that feel like minigames of their own. You have Academy Mode, a cooperative survival mode where both players fight off wave after wave of enemies. It's essentially a horde mode years before horde modes were common. Between waves, you can fight each other in bonus rounds for extra points. Academy Mode can be played on the Thule moon and in the Geonosian arena. Duel Mode, a straightforward 1v1 mode played on maps like Kashyyyk, Renvar, Thule, and Raxus Prime. Control Zone, a King of the Hill style mode where players capture and hold a zone to earn points, including maps like Thule Moon, Thule, and Raxus Prime. Conquest, the closest the game gets to a prototype Battlefront. Players control a base, defend it with turrets, and attack the enemy's base. Playable on Geonosis, Kashyyyk, Thule Moon, and Renvar. Overall, despite the game's control issues, the multiplayer is surprisingly rich. The variety of modes adds real longevity and makes the game a fun couch multiplayer experience. Bonus material. The game includes a surprising amount of unlockable content, giving completionists something to chase beyond the campaign. Every mission, 16 in total, contains 3 optional objectives which reward you for mastering specific parts of each level. Completing optional objectives can give you extra multiplayer levels. Some maps are only accessible through these objectives, adding fresh arenas and battlegrounds. Concept art. This includes early designs for vehicles, characters, and environments, great for fans of behind-the-scenes Star Wars material. Character models. You can unlock 3D models of Jedi, droids, vehicles, and unique units created specifically for the game. These extras meaningfully increase replayability and encourage players to revisit missions for a 2002 action title. The amount of bonus content is surprisingly robust. What I liked. Even though the story takes a while to get going, once it finally kicks into gear, it becomes genuinely engaging. I like the overall direction the narrative takes and how it builds towards later moments. I especially enjoyed the way the game explores elements from other expanded universe stories, particularly Tales of the Jedi. Seeing those references woven into the plot adds depth and makes the world feel larger and more connected. Those callbacks are some of the most rewarding parts of the experience. What I didn't like. The controls hold this game back more than anything else. The character movement often feels stiff and unresponsive, making basic navigation more frustrating than it should be. The sections where you control a character instead of a vehicle are especially bad, clunky, awkward, and just not fun to play at all. Thankfully, these moments are rare, but every time they show up, they drag the experience down noticeably. Overall, I'd give this game a 5 out of 10. There are some genuinely enjoyable ideas and lore connections, and the story does eventually become worthwhile, but the gameplay issues stop it from reaching its full potential. It lands right in the middle. Not terrible, but not particularly great either. Star Wars The Clone Wars 2002 is a strange relic, ambitious, messy, frustrating, and surprisingly bold in its storytelling. It's far from perfect, but for fans of the early expanded universe, or anyone curious about the wild experiments of early 2000s Star Wars gaming, it is worth revisiting. Let me know if you enjoyed this video in the comments down below, as well as let me know your thoughts on this game. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and until next time, thanks for watching.